What's going on, YouTube world? Austin Zaback here with another YouTube video, and I am fired up to get back in the habit of bringing you guys consistent daily or bi-daily uploads. So super excited for that. So definitely stay tuned. In this video, we're going to talk about, as you probably already saw the thumbnail, the difference between an assignment and a double close. Okay, obviously we're talking about wholesaling specifically here. So if you guys have been curious, if you're watching this right now and you've been curious on what exactly the difference is between an assignment contract, okay, and a double close, and why you might need one versus the other and what situations that would occur, that's what this video is going to be about. Okay, so definitely stay tuned until the end of the video. You're not going to want to miss any of this content if you're a wholesaler and you're confused as to what the difference is. Obviously, if you already know, I would still watch the video anyways, but worst case, you can go check out my next video. Guys, that said, I'm going to talk to you guys about the differences real quick. So an assignment essentially is where you're direct with the seller, okay? So I'm going to draw a quick thing on the whiteboard here so you guys can understand. By the way, I've done wholesaling videos before, okay? So you can go watch my previous video on wholesaling. If you're confused what wholesaling is, I have a wholesaling video called Wholesaling. Definitely go watch that video and then come back to this video and you can wrap your brain around exactly what I'm talking about here. Okay, so to keep it very simple for you guys, you want to understand that essentially you have a home, okay guys? Right here is your house, okay? And you have this house under contract, okay? You know, here you are, right? I'm gonna draw this out. Make him happy. Okay, so you put this house under contract, okay? You're direct with the seller, or maybe you're co-wholesaling. It doesn't really matter, but the moral of the story is you have this specific property under contract. Now, you have a couple of different options. You're looking to wholesale the property, right? You're looking to offload during your inspection period to an end buyer. You might be asking yourself, do I do an assignment or I do a double close, and what's the difference? Okay, an assignment is very simple, right? An assignment is essentially you just flipping your contract, okay? Because again, you have this contract right here, guys, right? This is your contract right here that you have with the seller, okay? So you have that contract, it's signed, it's done, it's ready to go. Essentially, an assignment is just you flipping that contract, right? It's a one-page form, okay? Typically one to 2 pages maybe, depending on the state that you live in. And essentially, you just have another document, okay, like this right here. And all it is it's an assignment contract, okay? And what it does, essentially, is it allows you to assign your initial contract. Watch this. Okay, so here's your initial contract right here. It allows you to assign this initial contract, okay? With this assignment form, it allows you to assign this initial contract to your end buyer, okay? So that assignment form is very simple. All it does is it allows you to assign this contract to your end buyer to buy this house. I know I'm really bad at drawing, so if you're a visual learner, I do apologize. Hopefully I get better at that soon, but guys, it really is that simple. So an assignment contract just makes your original contract assignable, right? You step out of the deal, okay? You take the contract, you essentially flip the contract for a profit, okay, which is stated in the assignment form, and you're out of the deal, right? Now the end buyer is in total control of the deal, and it's going to be his duty and obligation to take over, whatever was written, obviously, in that original contract. So you're just assigning the contract, backing out of the deal, and you're all done. You collect your money when the deal closes. Title company will typically write you a check separately for however much you have in that assignment form, $5,000, $10,000, whatever, okay? Why you would use an assignment form, you might be asking. You would use an assignment contract typically if you're making less than $10,000, right? That's my go-to. So if you're making less than $10,000, you want to use an assignment form, and here's why. When you use an assignment contract, everybody knows what everybody's making, okay? The end buyer knows what you're making as the wholesaler. The seller knows what you're making as the wholesaler. The seller knows now that you are wholesaling the property, and everybody knows what's going on. Now, we are dealing with humans, we're dealing with other people, we're dealing with human psychology, we're dealing with a lot of different emotions, obviously in the real estate space, in the real estate industry, but really any industry for that matter when you're in sales. So, if you're making $75,000, you probably don't want everybody to know what you're making because the back-end buyer might only be making $75,000 and it might take him 6 months to complete the rehab, go through all of the work, have all the contractors fix the property up, hire a realtor, put it on the market, pay 3% on the buy side, 3% on the sell side, and then wait for it to sell. And if he's only making 75 grand and it took you 1 week to make 75 grand, you could probably imagine that people aren't going to be extremely happy. So again, if you're making less than $10,000, typically, okay, again, don't take my word for it, this is just my advice, it's typically okay that you use an assignment contract. Nobody really gets mad, you're just doing your job, right? And you deserve to get paid for all of your hard work. Typically, people just don't want to see you freaking make a ton of money. It's just the way the world is, okay? So, in the case that you're making a lot of money now, this is why we would use a double close. Okay, here's what a double close is. Follow this. Essentially, a double close is going to be this exact same thing. The difference is you're writing a new contract. So before, this was an assignment, okay? Right? An assignment form. And this over here was a contract, okay? So you had the regular contract and then you had an assignment form. Now, in a double close, the difference is this over here is now not an assignment anymore. This over here is another contract, okay? And you're not doing anything. You can get rid of all these arrows, right? So this arrow goes away, okay, that arrow goes away, and you have a contract with the seller, okay, you're under contract with the seller, you find a buyer, now you sign another contract with the buyer, okay? So you have another contract with the buyer, and typically the buyer's earnest money will cover your earnest money. So whatever your earnest money is, the second contract with your buyer, let's say your earnest money with the seller is $1,000, you want your contract with the buyer, that earnest money to be $2,000, because if that fell apart and you still have this, that guy loses his earnest money, you'd still make $1,000. Okay, so pretty easy to follow along if you know what wholesaling is. Now, what happens here is when you go to close the property, right? When you turn all your paperwork into the title company, or depending on what state you're in, potentially an attorney, you'll actually technically own the property for like 5 seconds, okay? Now, it doesn't mean you have to have the funds for the property. It doesn't mean that you have to be able to afford it or get a lender or anything like that. That's not how it works. What ends up happening is the buyer's funds end up covering your funds, okay? So it kind of like it just overlaps your funds essentially, right? So for a split second when you close 2 times. Title company closes with you, you own it for like 5 seconds, and then immediately they close again with the new buyer, and the new buyer owns it, okay? In this case scenario, nobody knows how much you're making until the deal's done, okay? So until the deal closes, it's done, and everybody gets paid, that's when everybody sees how much everybody made. So that way you're not gonna have any hiccups in the meantime of doing the deal. In the beginning of doing the deal, you know, like in the assignment contract, you know, somebody could throw a hissy fit and say, you're making too much money and I want to back out, I don't want to be part of the deal, right, and let their emotions get in the way, as opposed to a double close. The deal's already done, everybody already made their money, somebody might still get mad at you, but again, the deal is done. So guys, again, this is an informative video. I'm not saying go out and screw people over, nothing like that, but this is happening every day in the United States of America, in all 50 states, whether you like it or not. Assignments are happening, double closes are happening, and there is a time and a place for both, okay? And your job is to go out there and do deals, right? Your job is to make money, and you should get paid to make that money, right? So again, you just have to make sure that the deal goes smoothly and everything goes as planned, right? So guys, it's very simple. Don't overcomplicate this. If you have any questions on contracts or anything like that, you can definitely go on Google. You can go on BiggerPockets, and there's a lot of different ways online that you can find these contracts. So don't overcomplicate it, okay? The last thing I want you to do is to overcomplicate this. Now, last but not least, one of the biggest drawbacks to a double close is that you pay 2 sets of closing costs, okay? So again, you are making a lot more money, but you do need to factor in that you close 2 times. So you're paying closing costs, and then typically your end buyer will pay closing costs, as opposed to the assignment, just the end buyer is paying closing costs. You stepped out of the deal, you have no closing costs, you're just making your assignment fee. So with a regular contract, aka a double close, you are paying 2 sets of closing costs, and that can be a con. So definitely factor that into your profit margins and know what you're getting yourself into, obviously, before you close the deal, before you get yourself into a position that you might not want to be in, right? So definitely things to consider. But in this video, you should pretty much understand the basics of, you know, what the difference between an assignment contract and a double close, why you would use an assignment, why you use a double close, the pros and cons to both, and you should be able to go out there and close your wholesale deals with ease, understanding the fundamentals behind what I just talked about. Again, if you aren't familiar with wholesaling at all, go back and watch my wholesaling video. I'm happy to make more videos like this in the future about any topic that you're looking for. Also Lamborghini videos, lifestyle videos, whatever I can do essentially to help you watching this right now, right? Motivation, inspiration, lifestyle, just whatever, guys. My job, my duty, my obligation, and what I want to do, and what I love to do, is to show you guys things that you don't know. So drop in the comment section down below what you'd like to see in my next video. I would love to potentially try to make a video on that. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you go subscribe, smash that thumbs up button, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.